Hello everyone. Do you remember this identity we learned back in 9th or 10th grade? Some of you may remember this identity or some of you may not. So, I will show you very easy way to remember this identity with the help of complex number. Let's draw the unit circle and here we use the Euler identity. Let's take the point on the circle at the angle of theta 1 and another at theta 2 and take another point sum of these two angles. Now we can write it as follow with the help of Euler identity. Now let's take the left hand side of this expression and we can write it as follows, and then we use the Euler identity and then we multiply it and then we simplify the expression, so we get this, and now we compare it with the right hand side of this expression, like we comparing real term with the real term and imaginary term with imaginary term, so we get the formula. So now we never forget it again, and this is a easy way to remember these identity. Now I will ask you another question. Can you integrate this expression? You can say yes if x raised to the power 2 as I have written. You can also integrate the expression if x raised to the power is 4 with as I have written with the help of partial fraction. But if we increase the power of x like 5, 6, 7, so situation become more difficult to integrate it. So I will show you easy way to integrate this expression with any power. For simplicity, let's take the example where x raised to the power is 3 and draw a unit circle and a point outside the circle P and take a distance from origin to the P is x. Hence, distance from the circle to the point P would be x minus 1. Now take n-sided regular polygon, but in our example it would be 3-sided regular polygon. Now label these vertices and take a line from point to C1, and we need to calculate the distance of this line, and then we label these points. So I am labeling these points with the help of roots of unity. So what is the roots of unity? It just give a roots of this equation. To calculate distance we need a distance formula, so we write it as follows. Now we put the point in this formula, so we get the distance of this line. Similarly, we can calculate the distance of line from point P to C2, so we get the distance like this. Now we take the distances from these point to point P, but we know the distance from point to C0 is x minus 1, so we put these value in expression. After simplifying this we get this expression. So we have factored this equation into linear and quadratic equation like this. So with the help of partial fraction we can integrate this expression very easily. By following same procedure we can also calculate the factor of x raised to the power 5 minus 1 as we did before, and so on. We can also calculate any power of x raised to the power n minus 1 by following the same procedure, so we get the factor in linear or quadratic form, so we can easily calculate the integration of these powers. Let's draw a 4 square. As you can see on the screen, I ask you a simple question. Can you prove that the line from P to S and the line from Q to R is perpendicular? If you prove this with the help of geometry, it will be more difficult to prove this, but if you prove this with the help of complex number, it will become more easy to prove the same. Take edge of the each square as a complex number and think complex number as a vector. Let's take the tail of the yellow vector as a origin. Now I want to get to the point P from the origin. So what will I do? I will go first to the midpoint of the yellow vector, then I will go same amount in perpendicular direction to reach P, and I have written mathematically the same. Here I have multiplied a with I to go in the perpendicular direction. Because when we multiply the complex number with I, it becomes perpendicular to that number or a vector. Now I want to go to the point Q. We will follow the same step. First we will go to the tip of the yellow vector, after that midpoint of the red vector, then we'll go perpendicular to the red vector to reach Q. Similarly, we can calculate the point S and R. Now we need to calculate the vector PS, so we can calculate it by subtracting P vector by S, and we named it as P. Now by putting the value of S and P, we get the vector B. Similarly, we can calculate the vector A. Now we need to prove that these two vectors are perpendicular to each other. Before that, we will understand first what will happen if two complex numbers are perpendicular. So if two complex number is perpendicular, then if we multiply the one complex number with I, then it become equal to other complex number provided that the length is same. So we can write it as follows. So if these two line or vector is perpendicular, then sum of these equal to 0 as seen in previous slide. Now we simplify the expression like in the form of real and imaginary terms. Now we try to remember the vector addition. When we add the vector, so we draw the resultant vector by seeing starting vector tail and the final vector tip. But in our case, when we add the vectors, our starting and end point is same, so the resultant vector would be 0. So by simplification, we find that the sum of A, B, C and D is 0. So we have proved that the sum of A plus IB is equal to 0. So the line or vector is perpendicular. Now we will talk about another application. Suppose I want to rotate the point 2 plus I 90 degree about the point 1 plus I, not origin. So what will we do? First we will shift the origin to the point about which we want to rotate the point. Now we will rotate the point 90 degree, then shift back the origin to its original place, so we get our rotated point about 1 plus I. Now we see it mathematically. Now put the value of Z1 as a 2 plus I and A as a 1 plus I. Now subtracting 1 plus I means we are shifting origin to 1 plus I. Now multiplying by I means rotating point 90 degree. Now adding 1 plus I means we are shifting origin back to its original position. Now after calculation we get the answer. This application is interesting because we follow the same procedure in computer graphics to rotate an object about a point.